Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. So for today's video, I thought I would share a little bit about my kind of travel background, how I got into travel blogging, how I afford to travel so much, how I get brand deals and that kind of thing, because I do get asked quite a lot about those sorts of topics, and I thought it'd be really easy for me to just make a video explaining it all, and then if anyone asks me in the future, I can just ping them over this video and it'll be much easier than keep explaining. So if you are new here or you don't really know anything about the kind of backstory of Copper Garden, there basically used to be just kind of fashion and beauty, a dabble into fitness, etc. on this platform and my other social media. But about 2 years ago, I went on a sailing trip to Greece and just fell back in love with travel. And it's the first time I'd really travelled like as an adult. So it was the first real taste of like going away with a friend on my own and just having the time of my life. And I know that sounds quite dramatic, but before that, when I was in uni and stuff, I didn't really travel. I didn't really go on holidays. I kind of just stayed in England or kind of went on the odd like family holiday, and it just wasn't the same. So that was my first real taste of traveling with friends, and I absolutely loved it. So much so that when someone crashed into my car about 2 or 3 weeks later, I used the money to pay for another holiday instead of paying for my car to be fixed, which probably wasn't the best idea, but that's the kind of thing you do when you just want to get out of England and travel. So that's kind of where it started for me. And then I ended up actually going on a big trip around South Africa for 3 months. I worked on the boats in Croatia for a couple of months, and I kind of just let my travels happen as and when they happened. And then after about, I want to say 8 or 9 months of just travelling quite consistently, I actually moved to London and settled, which I would say settled, but I think over the time that I've lived in London, which is now nearly 2 years, I think I've actually only spent about 8 months in London, maybe a little bit more, but I honestly just am never here. So I have this as my base and I travel from here because for the work that I do, which is doing this full time, so I'm a full-time blogger, Instagrammer, YouTuber, whatever you want to call it, and to me, doing it from London is the easiest thing because it means I can go to meetings, I can catch up with emails, I can get parcels sent to me, etc. But I do love travelling, so I kind of try and mix them two as best as I can. That's basically how I got into like travel blogging. I just literally started travelling and just talking about it online, and that's kind of how it all happened. And back in the day, I used to do weekly vlogs where I would vlog all of my travels that week and where I'd been and what I'd been getting up to, etc. And it's something that I'm really considering going back to because weekly vlogs were really fun. But they were much easier to do weekly vlogs when I was travelling for 3 months as opposed to doing one long video, which is why I now do kind of shorter videos of different trips as and when, which I will leave in the cards and in the description because I actually do have a playlist of all my travel vlogs. So that kind of brings me to now and the brand deals and all that kind of thing. So as a full-time influencer, I hate the term, but I'm going to put it in there, I basically get to travel quite a lot with brands for different launches or events or whatever it might be. So I recently went to Marrakesh, which was a press trip for Next to kind of promote their new Emma Willis collection. I have a trip on a Vespa in a couple of weeks time, which is for a company called the Vespa Trip, and it's to promote their kind of holiday and that kind of thing. I've been on trips to promote certain cities, etc. And to be honest, I have never actually gone and approached someone for those trips. They've always been ones that have come into my inbox, which is so lucky, and I'm so grateful for it because a lot of people don't get those opportunities, and I'm so grateful that I do. But to get those travel collaborations, I had to be travelling. Like, I wouldn't have obviously got those if I wasn't on the move a lot. I think brands often tend to, I mean, I might be wrong here, but I feel like they tend to go for people who are travelling quite a lot, and I like to think of myself now as being like a travel and style person. So when I'm in England, I obviously talk about the travelly bits here, so I show London off a little bit as well as my fashion, and then when I'm travelling I show off the places that I'm in as well as my fashion. So that's kind of how I like to define myself and how I would explain my brand to other people. So brand collaborations are a tricky one with trips. I think everyone knows that kind of gifting and paid promotions and stuff are kind of a regular occurrence, but obviously to go on a trip, they're not just like gifting you a trip, they're paying for the flights, for the accommodation, sometimes the food and the drinks, sometimes they're paying for like other bits like you might be going on maybe jet skis or a helicopter or that kind of thing, and obviously the brands then have to pay for all of that. And when you go with a tourist board, they obviously still have to sort all of those things out, so it is quite a big expense. And I think anyone who goes on them is really lucky because obviously it is a trip that you would be paying hundreds of pounds for and you're getting it for free. So it is a really great way to travel. I want to say maybe half of my trips are brand focused. They are for brands. However, this year specifically, 2019, so far, I've been on 3 brand trips, but 2 were technically in England, and I've been on 2 that were outside of England. And then over the rest of the year that I've got already planned in, I have 2 that are brand and 3 to 4 that aren't. So it is quite a like even ratio, but I do still pay for my own trips. And to be honest, I think that's a great way to do it because I'm seeing obviously more of the world than I would if I paid for it all myself. But I'm still working while I'm there. Like, it's not really a holiday, it is literally a like work trip, because while I'm out there I'm having to take loads of pictures, I'm having to sort blog posts and videos and do all these things. And also I think online we make press trips seem a lot more like fun and games than they are sometimes. I think they can be quite a lot of work, and it can be quite a lot of stress to kind of get outfit shots and make sure that you can get the content obviously for the brand. Moving on to how I afford to travel, I wanted to kind of touch on this because there is several different ways that you can afford to travel, and I think if you are someone who really desperately wants to go, then you can make it a possibility. There's just obviously several things you have to think about. So I actually did a video specifically on how I afford to travel a couple of years ago, and I haven't really watched it back recently, but I want to think that most of what I said still stands. So at that point in time, I had saved up a lot of money to go on my South Africa trip, and I was still working on my YouTube and stuff while I was there. So obviously this still generated a little bit of an income, as well as doing paid Instagrams and stuff. However, when I went over to Croatia, I had to pay for my own flights. Obviously that was an expense. It was like £200 to fly out and then fly back, so about £400 in total. And I was there for, I want to say 8 weeks, and I think I earned maybe £400 a month while I was there. So in total being there, I earned £800, and I spent £400 on flights, and then obviously I had to buy food and stuff while I was out there too. So I didn't really make money while I was out there, but being out there working obviously allowed me to live on a boat for 8 weeks rent free. Like, I didn't pay to be on the boat, and then I basically just paid like the buffer either end, and then just had like the general middle bit mostly free. Obviously I had to pay for dinners and stuff here and there and alcohol and stuff, but yeah, it was a majority free trip, and I think that is a great way to travel. Like, I know a lot of friends of mine, obviously from doing the boats, work on the boats because it's a great way to see new countries and explore and just be on the sea and be in the sunshine and still make an income to kind of do the next trip. So a lot of the time you'll find that when you are traveling, like my mum actually went out and did quite a few months in Australia, and a lot of people over there will do like fruit picking, which earns you money by the hour. There's various other jobs like bar work and stuff you can do while you're en route, and a lot of them are really traveller friendly, so it's a really great way to kind of get an income while you're still going. And I have to admit, I haven't necessarily done any kind of working abroad other than that Croatia trip, so I can't really speak on behalf of like how that would go down, etc. But I know that that is a really great way to do it, and to be honest, if I was to go to like Bali or Australia or something, I'd probably think about that if I needed to in the future. However, I am in a very fortunate position where this is my full-time job, and it does luckily pay for me to do those things. However, if I was to go and like go to Bali for 6 months, I don't think I'd be able to still sustain my job as it is, because obviously I wouldn't be here to earn the money, etc. So it literally is a give and take on how I afford to do it, because if I'm in England I make the money to go travelling, and then I might get paid post while I'm out there, so I might have to kind of take, I don't know, a pair of shoes that I have to do a paid post for, or some jewellery or that kind of thing, and obviously that then is being done while I'm out there, so I'm kind of technically earning money but not. So there is various ways to travel. I will link the video that I've spoken about before, because that is probably the best one. But I think that being a YouTuber and stuff is a very lucky position to be in, and I think that it's a great way to kind of fund travels, which I think is partly why a lot of people do it, but also because I personally find it an amazing way to store memories. So I've got this entire catalogue of hundreds of videos of me throughout different stages of my life, different relationships, different kind of money, financial statuses, when I was working, when I was at uni, etc. And it's so amazing to look back on those things, and I still now sit and watch some of my old videos back, like when I've been travelling and stuff. Like, me and Sam went on a trip where we found out the location at the airport, and I watched that back the other day and was just laughing at how before we went we were obviously completely baffled, didn't know where we were going. We sat at the airport and we got told we were going to Bilbao. Neither of us knew where Bilbao was. Like, it literally was the most fun trip, and we had so many memories that sometimes I think get slightly forgotten when you're kind of going through everyday life, but then you see something that maybe triggers a memory, or you see a certain memory being played out on camera, and it's just a really nice experience. So I'm hoping that when I go to Croatia in a couple of days, I'm going to have similar, because I'm hoping to make a kind of like travel montage. I've spoken with my one friend who is coming with me. She actually sails. I love her to death. She is one of my best friends in the world, and we are basically going to have a week of me, her and her boyfriend Henry, who she's called Carrie, he is called Henry, and he's basically going to be with us as well, and we're just going to have a week, the 3 of us on the boat, and it's just going to be so much fun. We're going to be drinking wine, having a good time. I'm going to get the drone out because I never really use a drone. I've got my new GoPro to play with and all these different toys, and I'm very excited for all the amazing content that we're going to make, and I'm hoping to make it more of a memory video, so I don't know if it's going to be much talking. It might just be like a really big montage of like mashup videos and stuff, because in honesty I just want to spend time with my friends and I really want like a memory to look back on, and sometimes I like those kind of travel videos and I don't really like talking, so we'll see. But I hope this video was informative. I kind of just wanted to make it a really candid chat. Yeah, I just honestly love traveling and talking about travel and doing travel, and I'm hoping that the next few months are going to be filled with so many adventures and so many amazing things that I can get back to doing absolutely everything that I love, because you guys know that I love being out exploring the world. And the one thing that really stuck to me when I was in the big South Africa trips and in Croatia and I did all those really big travel vlogs was that people said that they felt like they could travel through me because they were tied down for whatever reason, like financially or whatever. And that's one thing that really stuck with me, and that's the reason that I still vlog every single trip that I go on, because I want you guys to feel like you are traveling and maybe escaping everyday life for a little while, because I know that sometimes when I feel really down or when I kind of haven't left in a little while, I watch people's travel vlogs and I just kind of let myself escape into their world and their like realm of traveling and stuff and just kind of be free. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye! Also, can we appreciate that I've done this whole video and not addressed the fact that my hands are bright orange because I put loads of fake tan on knowing my friend's going to be really brown, and lol.
I won't make it easy for you now. You got 2 minutes of my time.